Hey everyone, or no one, whoever happens to stumble upon this live stream. I decided to do it live instead of pre-recorded. I wasn't going to do any videos today. I was going to take the night off, and I'm bringing back my mad reactions, especially after um, the charity month is going by. And after the fandom awards, I'm going to get back to my usual content. Honestly, the reactions are going to be from hot takes of stuff I haven't seen, and I'm honestly curious about this specific video. I'll show you the thumbnail first. Well, let me show you the thumbnail I made. If you are in the chat, please say hello. I think I have one person viewing so far. Now 0 people are viewing. Oh my, 0 people are viewing this stream. Wow, this is the worst stream I've had so far. Well, we'll make it better once we get to the reaction. I'm not on camera tonight because I'm taking the day. I'm taking I'm taking an easy day. Okay. I'm honestly so curious, and this is also why do I cover this consistently? Why do I say stop the hate? It's a fact now. They are absolute haters. I'm not afraid to call them anything else but haters. I wanted to see how much spin they're going to come with because the MCU is not dead. These are facts. The MCU has a lot going on there, and how they ignore, context, nuance, just to hate on things, how they take something positive, something so extremely positive as the Spider-Man No Way Home box office, and how everyone, I'll give props to Jeremy. He did a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. He's doing better content. I'll even give props to that Star Wars girl. She is doing cosplay. These are positive things you could do in fandom. Gary won't let it go. Gary is, and why does he do these things? Why does he say Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Miles Morales is Miles Morales? Does he actually care? What is he a fan of? What is he actually doing? He's just wanting a reaction because he's ignorant and nasty. He's a nasty person. The internet, you can thrive on being nasty. So we'll get to the video reaction. I added, now this is his thumbnail. I don't want to see Simu Liu crying. For some reason, there's a strong pull to put people that are for social justice, and that's not a bad thing. Can people jump the shark on social justice? Yes, they can. Can they make some mountains out of molehills? Yes, they can, and so can Gary. I mean, telling people that that in Hawkeye being tied up is emasculating him. The MCU, I cannot believe grown men, and I seriously, this is not. I'm not actually that mad in this. This is pathetic. Pathetic for a person that says he's a man to talk like this. And how prevalent it is on the internet. MCU, is that funny to you? Well, I guess that's your right to be ignorant and juvenile, but I'm going to use my freedom of speech to call you a moron. And how pathetic you must be that this is how you get clicks. Am I jealous? No, I am saddened. I'm sad that people are rewarded for this level of juvenile behavior, toxicity, prejudice, bigoted comments, and spin and bias that has never been seen before on the internet as this group of morons. People have a lot of issues with John Campea and those in Access Media. There is such a level of bias and spinning everything hateful that is unparalleled, and people do not. They're still going hook, line, and sinker on their bullshit. So I want to see how he This is the title of the. Let me bring up the video that we're going to react to. Woke Marvel exposed by Spider-Man No Way Home destroys Disney box office narrative. Now, a reasonable person would see that Shang-Chi is not in the cultural lexicon like Spider-Man is. So any reasonable person that is not hate-mongering on the internet and comparing out of context with actual facts, a person that has some knowledge of geek culture will ultimately understand that Shang-Chi does not have the same relevancy right now that Spider-Man does. Only a moron would try to push this false narrative that says that they can be equal on equal ground and that it exposes false narratives. Only a moron would try to push this. And I haven't watched a second of this video yet. A second of this video. But only a moron would try this. And morons get rewarded online. Let me get to the chat. Hey, if you want more live reactions with me and you and the viewers, just me and you and the viewers, instead of pre-recorded reactions, mad reactions, let me know in the comment section and show your support by this video. Can I get 50 likes for more mad reactions live? Because that is something I love to do. I am actually intrigued at how much bullshit he's going to pull out of his ass for this video. How much spin and bullshit of his false narrative that the MCU has done that he's going to try for. Hi, Senior Nerd. Hey, Corey Place. Don't believe in wokeness? Okay. Senior Nerd said, don't you effing use Spider-Man parts of your culture war. Fandom menace that is totally disparate. Yes, anyone that knows Stan Lee knows that he is for this type of embracing of, the multiverse of other Spider-Men. They don't say the other white Spider-Men are not Spider-Man, do they? No. Love the movie. Very excited for Morbius and Spider-Man 4. Rhea is here. We are going to have a great time with the Fandom Awards tomorrow night. New rock stars. Okay. Good evening, friends. The CJH, you hope that Sam Raimi gets a chance to direct the College trilogy. Okay. Well, yes, we're doing our due diligence, Antonio, to expose their false narratives. Caden is here. Good evening, nerds. And Darth Lopez. You have been honored with the presence of Darth Lopez. Well, thank you, Darth Lopez. All right, let's get to the reaction here. Let me bring up my little reactor screen here. And let's see how much bias and false narrative he tries to push and how much he spins to the hateful, fear-mongering asshole that he is. It's all fear-mongering. We're being replaced. Our characters are being replaced. We are gatekeepers of these characters, even though we have nothing to do with it. Gatekeeping is one of the worst things in fandom right now. It always has been, and I will do a separate video on that. Due diligence. Oh, shirt, yes. All right, let's get to the video. Let's get to the reaction. Full volume. Okay, it's funny to make fun of Simu Liu because he did lols. I mean, it's the right. It's their right to, do memes. I'm not going to say that. It's completely ignorant. You want to see this of Gina Carano, and Gina Carano makes a lot more moronic statements than Simu Liu online. I'm sorry. Be consistent. No consistency whatsoever with social justice weirdos like Gary and the Friday Night Tights crew. That they are mostly white. And they I try to watch a live stream of Friday Night Tights, and immediately they joke and say, X-Ray Girl, you've said too much. But yeah, that could potentially be funny, but then that's all she says during the whole live stream. It is virtue signaling themselves. And tokenization, talking about how you point to your friends when you're in trouble, but there's not a lot of diversity of thought. No.
Lisa, I want some more.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
Nerd erotic.
For some reason, I know the argument's going to be the person that edits Nerdrotics videos together is also Asian, but for some reason they love to mock Asian people. And also, there is why do I call them bigoted? Because they are. There is a lot of humor that they use that they think is funny. And I'm not saying that they should be deplatformed. But I watched another clip where they had Elliot Page now getting getting bit by the spider. And then they had, when Tobey Maguire back the original trilogy is flexing with the muscles, there's a lot of comedy that they love to embrace, mocking transitioning. If you think that's funny, I do say something about people that think that's funny. We're not progressed enough that we could stop mocking people that are different lifestyles and are transitioning. That's funny to laugh at. There's a lot of this going on too. There's Crowder. Crowder came up with the video this week where he got a strike on his YouTube channel where there is he made a comedy song. One of his guests made a comedy song about an ex-girlfriend transitioning, and then saying I have to look at them a certain way because they have in not really say certain things because they have increased risk of hurting themselves. And that was done as a joke in the song. So don't tell me that these people do not embrace bigoted humor and behavior. It's facts. These are facts here. They think it's funny. All right.
.com.
What if I told you that Hollywood was still capable of making a superhero film without any fake woke marketing?
What?
A Marvel.
Now the woke marketing is to trigger fools. It's to trigger fools like him. Instantly, you get a lot more clicks because you trigger bigoted boomers that are so stuck in their ways that they can't really embrace progress and new lifestyles, even though it has nothing to do to impact them whatsoever. They just can't take it. They immediately say, "Oh, it's in your face when there's an LGBTQ representation of a relationship on screen. That's immediately woke." That's bullshit. Just because you're not used to it doesn't mean it's woke. It means expand your horizons.
Film without a single sign of the MCU filled.
Yeah, there he goes with his juvenile behavior, juvenile takes. MCU. They really cannot. Are you telling me that no one has noticed some action sequences with men superheroes that seem unbelievable and, break the illusion of action? That's bullshit. There's lots of scenes with male superheroes that don't look realistic or plausible either. They're called superheroes for a reason. As soon as there is a woman superhero and she does something spectacular, it's immediately woke and not plausible. This is where the misogyny is proven again and again with, Jeremy and Gary. Jeremy was on a live stream before where he said the female Mandalorians from Mandalorian season 2 is not plausible for them to, have a conflict with the male characters. He says, they wouldn't be beating them. They can't see past it. They cannot see past it. Listen, these are the last men that should be talking. Maybe, Ryan Kinnell used to work out. I don't know if he does. I need to work out more. But all these wonderful characters in, people in entertainment are way more physically fit than they are. and they're the ones sitting in their nerd rooms complaining that it's not plausible for a woman. Okay. There are a lot of great women out there, great people in entertainment that are extremely healthy and take care and exercise, and it's extremely plausible. There's nothing that you could do to prove to these fools, no matter how much of training or anything, that they're going to say immediately it's a Mary Sue. All right.
Upload of fan service, that thing that I like to call giving the customers what they want. What if I told you the actors in this film were talking about the film and not identity politics or regurgitating?
No. We're not going to let him get away with that. We know for sure that, and I'm sorry I fixed my mic. We know that they talked about the story in the movie too, and it wasn't just that. He is creating a straw man argument, not a question, a straw man argument, acting like this is all they talk about. No, they talk about the character, but normal people, you know how they like to say normal people that that when they hear it's a new benchmark for representation or different types of characters, people are gonna take it or leave it. Like, okay, whatever. Real people, real men don't sit on the internet and cry about it, cry about representation. That is why it's still used in marketing, because you're part of the problem. That is why.
The latest virtue signal. Well, that day has arrived with
because she's using sign language, it's a virtue signal. Do you know how important it is for, I hope I'm using the correct term, and I try. If I don't, I try to for people that are handicapped, to have representation of characters. What does it hurt you, white bearded bitch? What does it hurt you that someone's using sign language in a film, or that actors and actresses that are deaf finally get some representation and get some action in the game? Why does one person out of the whole Eternals cast that is handicapped trigger you so much that you have to whine about it? Is the whole Eternals cast that way? No, they're not. Why do you have to whine about a actress getting work that uses sign language that's actually deaf? This is what I'm talking about. This is why they're bigoted, closed-minded, and echo chamber bigots. All right? This is why. I will not stop saying it. I will not stop saying it. All right, let's hear what else he has to say. He loses his mind because someone is using sign language in a superhero film.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Leave out all the woke crap, and you get a film that's set to break actual box office records, not manufactured ones. Spider-Man.
No. Not manufactured. In context. In context, Shang-Chi was extremely successful. Go back to the first MCU movies. The first Thor. Did the first Thor break $1 billion? No, it did not. People knew about Thor. Thor is a more well-known character than Shang-Chi. And it still didn't make that box office. Neither did the first Captain America. Okay? Potentially the first Iron Man was extremely successful. But that's also because you had Robert Downey Jr. Context. Shang-Chi, the property, and the lead actor are not well-known entities in the cultural lexicon. Yes, thank you, Devin. Yes, I am not afraid to say it. I've had people that really did not like that I say it, that I use this term, but there's no other way to get around it. I'm not going to call them actual ists, but I am going to say what they are. And I am going to dissect their behavior and how moronic it is to listen. Where are we at today? This is one of the best years to be a geek ever. No one could imagine. This is an absolute exposed video. No one could ever have imagined back in the day that we would have got, and here's spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, I will put the banner up here. Okay, that we would get Spider-Men in the film. And the only thing that could have made it even better, and I'm sorry, I know Hans maybe didn't see it, so I'll give a moment for the spoilers. The only thing that could have made it better is if we got an actual Miles Morales in it, honestly. So we had all that representation, and that would be amazing. Okay, fair enough, Hans. Can you imagine? We are getting things that we couldn't even have dreamed of. And then these assholes are still complaining. How much more proof do you need of how indoctrinated they are in this bullshit and how much they only care about funds and to piss people off? All right. William says it's too soon for Miles. Okay, I can understand that. At least there was something there. I will take the banner off. Although, you know what, Hans, someone tell Hans that this video review may actually spoil something anyway. They won't stop complaining, but we could do is try to change one person's mind to see what they're actually doing and how hateful they are. Stop the hate. This is not a thumbnail just to have a thumbnail. It's stop the hate. Stop having our great characters and actors and talent in the MCU crying on thumbnails just because it gets you the clicks from actual hateful people online around the world. There's still a lot of ism around the world, and how Gary may not personally be an ist, but he certainly is prejudiced, and he certainly benefits from those clicks of putting an Asian man in the thumbnail crying, That's all he could think about today. That's all he could think about. All right, let's get back to the reaction.
No Way Home completely exposes the failure that is Marvel's fake woke marketing in 2021, and it is glorious. As MCU producer,
wow, you see how he's trying so hard. He is trying so hard to spin it in his direction. And his title of his video is False Narratives. False Narratives. And that's how he's spinning it. That this is how, that everything else is trash. And this exposes, they're in the long grift game. Let's be real. They're in the long grift game. They've been having this war, bringing in people online that are in the culture war for InfoWars, bringing in that crew to fight this war that's never going to end because the MCU is not dying. It's not dying. All right.
Sir Nate Moore makes excuses for the Eternals, which we'll get to in just a moment. I don't want to bury the lead on this one. Spider-Man No Way Home is...
Now, Eternals, it was a decent movie. Could have been better. But let's be real. It's not well known there's going to be, as the MCU expands to more characters, there are going to be less billion-dollar movies. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen as they expand and create and have a more inclusive MCU. More characters. Not everyone's going to make $1 billion. And you know what? The second, I can agree with that. I saw Eternals. Wasn't my favorite. Was decent. I hope they get another chance. Antonio, No Way Home is the best Phase 4 movie, though. The Widow. Okay. All right.
is the second biggest opening of all time in the era of COVID, mask mandates, vaccine passports, fear porn, rapid tests that cost $300 that are a total ripoff. And sure, there are a couple of states that are
Okay. I am not going into those conversations anymore, honestly. But really, being so far. Listen, I'm not telling anyone what to do anymore. I'm not. There's lots of different, diverse people that have issues with what's going on. I'm not going to get into that. But being so against it is also pushing your agenda, Gary. So you're being extremely political. So really, what is it? It's not that there's politics and everything. And you can't remove politics from everything. You can't remove it from stories. Do you know how bland the world will be? Yes, obsessive political talk is nauseating. It's nauseating. But what is Gary really upset here? Not that there's politics in it. It's not that it's that it's not his politics. He's tired of seeing not his politics, but because he's extremely political, talking about things that he should not be talking about. Let's be real. I shouldn't talk about it. Viewers shouldn't talk about it unless you're a doctor. Everyone make your own decisions. There's lots of people that shouldn't be talking about, let alone Gary Nimrodik. Yes. Hi, Nerdette. Politics have always been entertainment. Can people jump the shark with it? Absolutely. Gary is case in point of jumping the shark with politics and having it everywhere. He just doesn't see his politics. If you were consistent, you would stand up for Simu Liu just like you would like Gina Carano. Okay?
they're still free like Florida and Texas, and I can't wait to get to one of them.
Okay, so now he's talking politics. He can't stand politics in the conversation. He can't stand it.
Which I liked, and I'll review in a couple of days. It was nostalgia bait. It's also a return to pure escapism, although a brief one. But all of the goalpost moving turned out to be just that, bullshit. Just like a lot of us were saying. Spider-Man No Way Home opening day is the second best of all time, swings past $300 million global. Now, before I get
I made a prediction that it's going to make $1 billion before 2022. All right, let me see what the Widow's saying. Facts, Max. He should love J.K. Simmons' role. He should have felt very comfortable with his character in his film. Okay. All right. Let's get back to this because I'm only 2 minutes in a 16-minute rant. And I honestly did not watch this ahead of time.
Started, I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel and supported me and my family throughout the years. We are creeping towards 400,000 subscribers, and this is way beyond my wildest expectations. And if you haven't,
not jealousy, disappointed. Not jealousy, disappointed that ignorance, juvenile behavior, and bigotry is applauded. It's bigotry. I've listened to this man where there was a plot point in a comic talking about, the way the world is in climate. And he said he wanted to punch the person in the face. All right.
subscribe, please consider doing so because it really does help the independent content creators compete against the ABCs, the CBSs, the NBCs, the MSNBCs, the CNBCs, and the CNNs. The whole alphabet. That's what we're up against. Now, I tried to find the clip, but I couldn't because I've done over 500 live streams on this channel. But a couple of years ago, I said that 2021 needed to be the year of the fan and fan service, that people were sick to death of woke Hollywood. And if they wanted to get some of that very large number of people they have been alienating over the last 4 years back, they're going to have to work just as hard as they did to alienate them in the first place. Or all the Michigas exposition has endured during the pandemic, including streaming threats, day and date window crunching, older demos not showing up, local ordinances, and countless release date changes and eliminations. Sony's Spider-Man No Way Home arrives this weekend to save the day. The hope here is that Sony's theatrical window respecting release date not only jolts the worldwide cinema attendance population back into seats as we head into 2022, but also makes moviegoing
That's
a
true,
habit
Josh.
once
That's
again
true.
for the masses. No holiday distraction, Los Angeles weekend rainstorm, or alarmist news headlines will prevent people from.
No. I agree, Josh. That is different. But him saying it because someone's talking about climate change, of course, people use it politically to be hyperbolic about the situation in the world. But saying, people even talking about it is immediately woke. People even talking about the state of the world is immediately woke. No. Oh, all those action figures nailed to the wall is disturbing. All right.
From heading out, especially the box office most reliable 18 to 34 crowd, and of course, the access media and the mainstream media will not.
You're no better then. This is what I have to drive home. Politics. Okay, Han says politics are all dumb. Burn it down. Simple as that. But you can't live in a world where there's no politics, because someone even said not having politics in this chat, even not having politics, not talking politics is political. You can't remove things that are in the world. It will be generic and bland. You'd be generic and bland as a bearded asshole in his nerd cave complaining about women and minorities that are being cast when you're making them. Inclusivity is not immediately woke. And when you do like the sky is falling, the boy that cried wolf about woke all the time. I'm gonna use those facts to expose your ass. Or listen, not completely removing it is unnatural. It's unnatural, Hans. I would love to talk to you about this in the future. Yes. Listen, I know that, Josh. I like difference of opinion. We're going to have a great stream tomorrow. Cast Graphics, they are forgetting that the movie is a combination of over 10 years of Spider-Man stories, kind of like Endgame. Right. So comparing it to Shang-Chi is completely disingenuous and trying to fill a false narrative of his own. I don't thank you for the enthusiasm, Corey. Okay, Tarful Core, human rights are not politics. I would actually say they are, but should they be is another question. Are we going to get to, is the world going to get to a place in the future where human rights are not political? That would actually be a world I'd like to live in. I'd like to live in this world too. But when people stop making human rights in inclusion and diversity extremely political, or beliefs and stuff like that, that would be I would love that world. Is it realistic? Probably not. Hey, Nicotina. What's up, Nicotina? All right. Hans, the people that are against it are just as bad as, how often does he talk about, his angle, or what state he's going to, or his political beliefs? How often does he talk about it and he doesn't want it? I mean, Gina Carano's movie that she's going to do is about Hunter Biden. That's a very political thing, I don't care. But it's it's just not your politics. That's all it is. I agree, Josh. I don't believe in trashing white people either. But that's also being used as hyperbolic too, though. There are people that make mountains out of molehills when there's nothing there, and do create these false narratives that let's be real. The MCU is not overly woke right now. It's not. There are some characters, and there's just like there's comics, there's some comics that they have more than others. There's diversity in the material. There's diversity in the films. There are some there. There's nothing overly there that is erasing men from pulp culture or from the MCU. That's just false. It's just not there. Or do they have cheesy moments in Endgame where all the ladies are together fighting side by side and just the ladies are there? Yes. But do you know how often that happens with all the men there? It happens. It happens. And then the men aren't completely erased. The men aren't cucked like they used to love that. They love that word, cucked. You know, they're not. They're still there. There's little moments. You can't even have a moment. You can't even have a moment for someone else. If it doesn't, these are gatekeepers of fandom and characters, and that needs to stop. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But saying that you don't want politics is bullshit then, if they're so supportive of it. You just want your politics. No, it's not. It's not woke. Jesus. And I don't care. I don't care, but stop saying that you don't want politics. Let me see here. Rhea says, Max, this seems like a more nuanced discussion than should be restricted to a live chat. I am up to have this discussion, Rhea. I instead of doing a pre-recorded reaction, I went live just to try it out. I think we're having fun here. Who cares what she does with her? I don't care what she does. I don't. I'm just saying how hypocritical it is that they say they don't want politics, but they're extremely pro Gina with the right politic movies. You know, what is the Daily Wire going to produce? There was a film that they made, and I'm not saying they shouldn't make this film. There was a film that there was a young person that was that their family taught them gun safety, which I think that I have nothing against that. I think if you have, I'm not getting into that argument. That is extremely divisive if you get into gun control. But the angle of the film was that this young girl, because her family taught her the right way to be around, weapons, that she went and saved the day when someone tried to do a mass shooting. Now, could that happen potentially? Yes. Is it very unlikely? Yes. And it's extremely political. I'm not saying that movie shouldn't exist, but it's just bullshit to say this is what we don't want. It's just it's the other politics. I don't care that it exists. I actually will watch that movie. I have no problems watching that movie. It's very unrealistic, and it completely is for a different political angle. All right.
The one giant elephant in the room. No woke marketing, no intersectional feminism, no MCU. While Spider-Man No Way Home is still 25% a Disney movie and they're going to make money for it, it's still going to expose them.
Now, I think they highlighted Amy Pascal. Well, that's a weird freeze frame to see Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal. I'm not the biggest fan of her. She does rub her nose a lot. I don't know. I honestly don't. But the MCU is just pathetic for men to say. Completely unfair.
Failure. That was Marvel's fake woke marketing, something they're not going to give up on, although they're about to get a lot of evidence proving it doesn't work. I can hear you now. Their woke marketing isn't fake. It's actually woke, and you be right. Their belief in it is fake. I don't need to remind you that this is the same company that says believe all women, yet they fired the first little lady to step.
Okay. I wish she wouldn't got fired either. I wish she wouldn't have got fired either. But if you run a business, she just didn't get renewed, honestly. She didn't get a new contract. She didn't get her new series because of her activity on social media, because she collaborated with Geeks and Gamers. Let's be real. That's not a good look. Ask Zack Snyder.
Step out of line. This is also the same company that likes to work and thank camps you concentrate in. This is what real success looks like. And if you want to see the difference.
Now, I totally understand the criticism of Disney working with production companies in China where there's actual, camps. That is disgusting. The world is still not perfect, though. I don't know what the answer is. There's a lot of unsolvable problems there. What do you want to do? You want authenticity in these films and these productions. You want, the people that have experienced it to be able to make their own films. What do you do when it's made in a country that still has a lot of issues? I don't know what the answer is. I totally understand and support criticism of productions that have actual camps there. Is that ultimately on Disney? I don't know. I have to do more research on that. To say they don't care, though, just because they also censor movies around the world, the world isn't progressed enough. The world has not progressed enough. It's not.
Difference between the manufactured success of the highly overpraised due to identity politics Shang-Chi.
No, it was extremely successful for what it is. That hair bunny. Hans, why doesn't he call out all the other companies he throws money at daily for their child workers, etc.? He doesn't actually care. He just knows that mentioning it will make him look better. Absolutely. Excellent comment, Hans. Josh, listen, Manda was awesome. I would totally be fine with Gina and Cara Dune coming back. I have a poster of Cara Dune. I wish I got the figure before it became rare. But I just don't think it's going to happen because she collaborates with people like this. Guilt by association. I don't, they create false narratives to attack her employer, and that's who she collaborates with. There's really no going back for her, honestly, because of, hanging out with Geeks and Gamers. It just isn't going to happen. She probably, to be fair, I made Kathy Kennedy fired videos. Probably wouldn't be good for her to come on my channel either, to be fair. But that's the truth. It's just not, she's not going to come back.
Let's take a look at my local theater here in Escondido, California, the IMAX Theater. These are the ticket sales for Shang-Chi on the Wednesday prior to its premiere. And here are the ticket sales for the Wednesday prior to the premiere of No Way Home. Now, this isn't one of the busiest theaters in the world, but this gives you a good example. These tickets are actually difficult to get.
That is what you call a crowded movie theater. I wonder how that happened.
Fans are expecting a smart sequel that raises the stakes in a way no other Spider-Man has, and they're happily going to get what they...
This is the equivalent of seeing Luke Skywalker come back for Star Wars. Unfair, false equivalency. It's an introduction to a character. It's not the culmination of every single version of the character. That's so unfair and so much bullshit. And that is the spin, the spin that he is pushing here. His false narrative of the MCU. It's completely unfair to put these two together. Now, is there, is the pandemic? It's all. Also, when it came out, even for the months going, people are more comfortable now going to the theater. I see it. But still, No Way Home sucked. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, the MCU isn't going anywhere. Okay. Oh, my God. OG Max. Okay. All right.
been asking for. There's arguably more action in No Way Home than Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It also has a better story, better character development, but I'll give Shang-Chi this one thing. It does have Marvel's Katie, and it's certainly easier to follow and has more.
Have to point out the woman. There's lots of people that have no... let's get Devin. Devin, I need you back. I need you on. Hey, Devin, let's collaborate with me and you on a reaction video here. This fool comparing a brand new debut of an unknown character IP to a sequel to a trilogy of one of the most beloved superhero IPs of all time. Yes, for a false narrative. Yes. Yes, clown shoes. Exactly. It's completely unfair. He's not fair. He's a troll. The troll king. He is the troll king. This is what he does. He doesn't actually care about anything except money and the hate clicks that it comes from. This is why he said Miles Morales is Miles Morales and not Spider-Man. If you like Stan Lee, you would never say that. If you appreciate Stan Lee and Marvel, you would never say that about Miles Morales.
More heart than the Byzantine plotted Eternals. Yeah, do you remember the Eternals? No one does, because Spider-Man No Way Home is making everyone forget about everything Marvel this year, which might be very convenient for Marvel. But recently, Nate Moore was out making excuses for the latest MCU disaster.
I think it was shocking. I think a little bit of
this. Let's be real. The reason that he's doing this is people have moved on. Star Wars hate clicks don't get what they used to. They don't get what they used to until there's another Star Wars movie out. So they have to create an impossible problem to solve, that the MCU is dying. They wouldn't talk about it every day if it was dying. They wouldn't. And unfortunately, they have a lot of influence on the environment here online. Okay, cool. Cool, Josh. And then I think we want to collaborate on the first episodes of Boba Fett review. Okay.
At his expectation. Look, going out of Avengers Endgame, everything was a bit under the microscope. This movie was intended to be the first original after Avengers, and then COVID hit and everything changed.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Chloe Zhao won an Academy Award. Wasn't an Academy Award winner when we hired her. Didn't actually hadn't made Nomadland when we hired her. So I think the expectation on that movie started to grow, right?
Wow. Yeah, great point. No, that's not a good point. It's called an excuse. Chloe Zhao winning an Academy Award doesn't change how bad the Eternals was.
Oh, for sure. Like there was no Academy Award winner.
You want to hire talent that that's being recognized in the industry, working on a new IP. If they get to Eternals 2, it can expand that property. And now it's an established new franchise. Also, it's not really tied to any of the other MCU. It's not closely tied. I'll say it's not closely tied like the other MCU films. They are experimenting. They are making it so MCU does not become stale. They're giving us new experiences.
Chloe Zhao was Chloe Zhao who did the writer when we first hired her. She's fantastic and wouldn't take that decision back, but I do think the expectations changed. And I think people, because Eternals didn't have one singular source material that anybody really knew, people started to map on their fantasy version of what the movie was without really having any context of what the movie we were making was about. And then look, ultimately you make something and you send it out into the world to be judged, and it's judged.
You see what he did there? He blamed the fans for having their expectations too high, and apparently they did. They actually expected a story and they didn't get one. All they got was diversity.
That's a lie. He's absolutely lying right now for his hateful audience. He's absolutely lying, saying it didn't have a story. It had a well-crafted story. He's lying, saying for his false narrative that the only thing there was the characters and that they're shell and they're potentially tokens, just like Young Rippa. And I have news for you. I have an update on Young Rippa. When I criticize people, I examine the content that they put out to the world. Young Rippa is a very talented musician. He's extremely prejudiced. And he's using token wrong. There's no such thing as a good token. He's using token as a blanket statement for any character. If it's potentially a token character, that means there's no substance. It's perfunctory. It's just there. It's not actually any value. So it's extremely offensive to call all these characters tokens. He's using it wrong. He is a very talented musician. I really like his music. So I will be nuanced when I discuss Rippa in the future, but he is one of the biggest gatekeepers. The biggest problems online from this comic book discussion are Ethan Van Sciver's lies about the industry and Young Ripa's gatekeeping. Young Ripa's gatekeeping of characters. He cannot accept these characters, and he's launching a new comic, and I applaud for him for that. I think he's going to come out with a great product, and I'm going to cover that too. Yeah, he's using token wrong, incorrectly.
And inclusion and representation, and blaming Chloe Zhao's Academy Award. Nate, dog, that was a terrible movie. The costumes were lazy. The storytelling was lazy. It wasn't a love letter to Kirby as it should have been. It was a love letter to your brand new audience that you helped cultivate. You know, the one that doesn't buy your stuff. As far as
he's purposefully misleading the audience without actually talking about the story and only talking about superficial things of what the people are. That's where he's obsessed with identity politics. You know, cast graphics without Eternals, it's almost impossible to get Galactus. Awesome. Hans, I wouldn't even mention. I'm not afraid of EVS. I'm just not going into. I will be careful, Hans. I will take your advice. Josh says he's so full of it. I see this. See, this is where it could be more interesting to do a live reaction with you viewers. Fans try to hijack the product. It backfires. Then the fans whine like a bunch of Karens. Exactly. You don't own this. And if you actually really liked the creators that created these amazing comics, you wouldn't be so prejudiced and only judging books by their covers. Oh, okay. Yes, we're not going to go too much farther. Rhea, I would actually really like it if as many members could make it to the stream tomorrow for the Fandom Awards results show. All right.
the U.S. Canada prospects go, Sony is seeing at least 130 million at 4,325 locations, and Thursday previews starting very early at 3 p.m. with all the strength of IMAX and PLF screens. Rivals and tracking see the opening much higher in the $175 million range, possibly even $200 million range, though everyone is high because No Way Home is the biggest movie they've seen tracking for quite some time, including the 3 previous MCU films that were absolute triumphs. Just a reminder, two of
there's just no comparison for the level of this is an Endgame, Infinity War Endgame type product. You can't compare it to an introduction to a character. You can't. It's not fair. It's not fair. There's, you cannot compare the two. He is lying to his audience. Lying.
those absolute triumphs contributed to Disney losing $65 million. Hashtag Black Widow lost money. Yes, I know Shang-Chi.
Oh, there he goes with Jeremy.
And if the sequel comes out, it'll be Shang-Chi and the rest of the Marvel Universe. Why are rivals? And that is the company that makes the projections so high.
It's not a strong prediction because that's what Marvel does. That's what MCU does, is they make it interesting. They include more fan service. They always do that. They give the whole, this is nothing new, Gary. You're again lying to your audience. This is nothing new. This is what MCU's done since Kevin Feige and Favreau started it. They start out with a solo film with a little bit of an Easter egg. The sequel gets more characters. So you're completely lying towards your false narrative to act like it's something new and that they're doing it as a crutch to prop up the property that's failing. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. That's just like Miss Marvel is now becoming Marvels because they want to introduce new characters, keep it fresh, keep it exciting, and you're ignoring the actual history of the MCU. This is the plan that they followed through the whole time, and that's why they're at where they are, and that's why you're getting the Eternals. Devin, this guy is a garden variety reactionary, just focusing on comic books. Even sadder, he has nothing interesting really to say. Not anything even entertaining, just unseasoned reactionary ranting. Yes. Oh, really? Chubby Teddy Monster Productions. Oh, Chubby Teddy. That image really, really pulls at my heartstrings. He's licking his nose. Wish you the best, Chubby Teddy. We all miss him. We all miss Doug. All right. They're all butthurt because Shang-Chi called them out on their bullshit. Yeah, because Simu Liu said lol. Lol. And made fun of them calling it a flop. All right, here we go.
For No Way Home, because pre-sales for the latest John Watts MCU title are at record levels. And it turns out these pre-sale records are truthful, and the previous pre-sale records we heard were all COVID pre-sale records. So basically, we made the shit up. Here are some real records from Deadline. Saturday update, adding another estimated 67 million overseas on Friday. Sony Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home has grossed an amazing 181.4 million at the international box office through yesterday, without China, with domestics 121.5 million.
So what's going to be the narrative now when Doctor Strange? What's going to be the false narrative when Doctor Strange comes out and it's extremely successful and Scarlet Witch is in there? Well, Scarlet Witch isn't the woke one. What? That's, she's part of the MCU too, isn't she, Gary? So because she's going to have such a strong focus and importance in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and she is a woman character, well, she's not the woke woman character. Is that how they're going to differentiate it? Is that the spin they're going to pull out of their ass? Well, she's not the woke. She was there before they got woke. Oh, I'm actually hitting the microphone on my head to seize. Yeah, Josh, it's a lot of fun. It's not my favorite. But it's a lot of fun, and I like the character. I can't wait to see him pop up and more. I want to see Iron Fist too with
the second biggest opening day of all time there. The global total is already across the 3-century mark at 302.9 million. The absolute triumph that is Shang-Chi is the 22nd highest grossing film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh, wait, correct.
Completely unfair. Look, it's ahead of Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Incredible Hulk, and Black Widow, and Eternals. Eternals was an ensemble film. Black Widow was past its prime. Let's be honest. Black Widow movie should have happened a long time ago. That's the context. Black Widow isn't a woke character. She's been there since the beginning. Murdoch J, yeah, well, she's fun. I do admit that the spoilers for Shang-Chi, the Katie Arrow scene, it seems like immediately injected just for bullshit artists like Gary to complain about. That shot, it just seems like it was put there just to trigger fools. And that does happen.
23rd highest grossing film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, thanks to Spider.
Now, if we could go back there, the actual context, let me see, is a lot of those ahead were all sequels. Look at that. The only MCU movies ahead of it that were not sequels were, let's blow this up big screen. Hold on. Captain Marvel, Black Panther. Well, the Avengers doesn't count because that's a ensemble. Doctor Strange. Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't really count because it's Spider-Man. It's another Spider-Man movie. And, Iron Man and Ant-Man. Those are only original, solo superhero films that are ahead of it. So if you actually use your brain and look at facts, you understand things instead of trying to make your own bullshit narrative. All right.
Universe. Oh, wait, correction. 23rd highest grossing film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, thanks to
Most
Spider-Man
of those
No Way
were
Home, or the
sequels.
5th lowest grossing film, no matter how you look at it,
Most
and it
of
made
those were
417
sequels.
million. Spider-Man No Way Home is set to surpass that in just 1 week. On opening day, I held a little watch party and a meetup afterwards, and I got to meet a lot of you out there, and we had a great time.
I'm going to say it. That's a white crowd. I'm sorry. Was that Chris Gore? Is that Chris Gore there? I shouldn't say that. That's mostly. I shouldn't say that. I apologize. Mostly. All right. Let's get back. I apologize. I'll try to be #be better. I shouldn't have said that. It looks like Chris Gore's there. I don't know. Mostly.
held a little watch party and a meetup afterwards, and I got to meet a lot of you out there, and we had a great time. The movie theater was packed. It was enthusiastic, and we all were talking about how long it had been since we've seen something like that, partially due to the coup, and the other part is due to all the woke crap Hollywood has put out. So the question I was asked the most at the meetup and on Friday Night Tights last night was, is this a sign of change, or is this just an outlier? Now, I don't want you to get too excited. There's still a long way to go. Hollywood tends to take something that's successful and use it as a mandate to get more woke. Just look at the MCU. Post Endgame, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, E-Man, The Last of Us Part 2.
So they really can't take any representation of other people kissing. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Hans. He is. That's unfair. Oh, you did? I would have loved to, Well, I have it sped up. No, that's true. That's true. Heel versus babyface is another. Okay.
Game of Thrones, Westworld Season 2, Altered Carbon Season 2, Iron Fist Season 2. Currently, we have The Wheel of Time, and that's from Amazon. And based on everything we've seen from that, it's not looking too good for Lord of the Rings. And not to be a Debbie Downer, but...
Whoa, Wheel of Time is amazing. Yes, I will. I was gonna do a video on it, though. If there's anything... Spoilers for Wheel of Time, not exactly. There's a character in it that fights off a lot of men soldiers while pregnant. That's all I'm saying. I was like, whoa, I could see, but it's an amazing series. It's amazing. Amazing.
But it wasn't that long ago. Luke Skywalker made his triumphant return, and we all know what Disney did right after that. Our escapism has been poisoned by activism, and this has been deliberate. Razorfist recently discussed this in a live stream, and the important thing here is not him name-dropping yours truly in the cold ring. It's what he said about what we do.
This is why I laugh when people say shit like, oh, you're just playing and reviewing video games. You're not really fighting the culture war. The implication being you need to be a political pundit. You need to be obsessed with adult things. You guys need to look up Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci is really the beginning of modern cultural Marxism. And Gramsci's stipulated that the purpose of taking over seemingly banal entertainment, at that time it would have been things like movies, plays, and such, is not to propagandize. It's to block off avenues of escape from politics. They want everyone political, because as long as everyone's political, everyone's outraged, which in the Marxist's mind, which Antonio Gramsci was, this is ultimately going to spur the class conflict, and this fills the coffers of the communists, and down the road, it spurs the revolution. So I want to make this unequivocally clear. You can bash fucking the quartering, nerderotic, whoever, the people who talk about the latest woke thing and then criticize it. They're doing more for the culture war and to stave off Marxism than pundits.
Whoa. That's a lot to unfold there. I don't even. Whoa. Oh, they really, maybe they are really serious about this culture war thing. Well, we know Devin, Wheel of Time, the El Shaddai, the witches in there in that series are all women. So immediately the whole premise is going to be, it's going to trigger fools that can't take women being more powerful. Yeah, no, he is going to bitch about it. Yes, this is gatekeeping. Well, Matt, you need to dissect what Razorfish it needs a more expertise than I have. For that, I didn't expect that in here. I'm like, whoa, they are serious. They're not just making things up. They actually think they are in a war. That is kind of frightening. That's kind of frightening what he just said there.
Sorry. Yes. Straight up, because the Marxist tactic right now is not to move politically. It's to move within the entertainment and cut off all escape. Gramsci believed that Great Britain, of all the countries on earth, was primed for a class struggle on paper. But he realized the revolution...
Wow, they're reading so much into nothing. Oh, yeah, go. Yeah, after that, thank you, Josh, for letting me know. I'll probably go check out Phil TMNT. Definitely, he is a great person in all communities. Oh my goodness, they are. I guess they are. Like Hans, it's that what Razor Fist is saying, and I know about Razor Fist. I don't really cover him much, but that is kind of frightening. They actually believe this shit,
and he basically decided
it's not there. They are imagining everything is a boogeyman. It's not there. Hey CJH, thank you for this 99 cent super sticker. I really appreciate it. Wow. I'm actually shocked right now. I don't even know.
That it was because people were relatively prosperous and they were distracted by entertainment. So if you actually cut the Marxists out, if you expose the
Oh
corruption
my
of entertainment
God.
and expel them from it, you actually create avenues of escape for normal people. You know, you hear people say all the time, man, what happened even like 10 years ago? People just kind of minded their own business on politics and it didn't really matter. And now everyone's all keyed up on it. Well, social media is keeping us perpetually engaged to it. But more than that, the entertainment is having politics injected into it.
What?
Now, social media is why politics are so toxic right now. I agree with that, but I honestly don't see that it's injected into the, entertainment as much as they claim it is. I really don't. And it's impossible to remove it altogether. All the movies that they enjoyed from the, from great visionaries like Scorsese and all the rest, there's always been some political angle. There's always been some politics in it. I don't get that. I don't get it. No, nothing will make them happy. Ben Bamboo. I backed one of Chris Gore's documentary Attack of the Doc with a lot of money. I follow him on Twitter where he seemed to be anti-Trump, but recently he's been hooking up with the fan. Yes, I'm very disappointed of how far he's gone down the hate mongering of everything. Everything is, he calls 99% garbage. That's really unfair.
What we are calling out is the activists and the companies bending the knee to them. You see, they win either way. Either the thing that we love is completely subverted or destroyed. What do you think Bad Reboot meant last summer when they put this on Instagram and said things like, no more white comfort?
What are you doing on your phone?
I'm sorry, I left.
All right. Let me get back to here.
I'm pretty sure all of you know this comic by now, and if you don't know the comic, you probably experienced it. You have a corporation which is making something for its loyal customers, and the customers are really pleased. They're excited. They just can't wait to throw money at the company. But then you have a moral busybody, an activist, someone with a megaphone because they have access to the mainstream media or they have connections with the mainstream media, and they say, I do not like the thing, and you're a bad person if you do not address the fact that I do not like the thing. So these are a very, very small minority of people. And when the company goes, you know what, I'll change it just so you don't call me a bad person. Then the actual fans, they say, well, this is not the thing we want. I'm going to look for a different thing. And obviously, like the people who are really excited about the thing, they're also the ones that are very upset and can't articulate it properly. So the customer leaves. And then you also only have the activist, and the company goes like, hey, don't you want to buy the thing? It's like, nah, I'm not interested in the thing.
To go full YouTube inception on you, both the Razorfist clip and that clip come from lack of entertainment. The full video will be linked in the description. It's a great explanation of why we are all here, and I will continue to do what I do because, like I said before, escapism is important. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be trying to take it away. By all means, go out and...
No one's taking it away. No one's it's he's fear-mongering again. No one's taking away their entertainment. No one's replacing the white male characters. No one's propping up women ahead of male characters. They're just giving them equal opportunities in the storylines. He's tweeting out MCU and he's upset that the women characters are featured as much as the male characters. That is different because even though I love comics, I recognize back in the day a lot of the male gaze thing. I'm not afraid to admit I like the sexiness of some of these female characters in the comics. But they're usually hanging off the guys or something like that in the comics of old. You're not being fair if you don't realize that was there. I'm not condemning that. I'm not saying there's not room for that too as well if you like that, but it's a reality. They were used as frosting on the covers. They sold comic books with the sexy female characters. Look, when I was growing up, when I saw a character, I saw some of those X-Men ladies. Wow, but it's not the same as what they were doing with the male characters. And now it's different, and I'm okay with that. And I'm not gonna, even though there might be some time to time where it's like, okay, they're pushing us a little bit. I'm not gonna complain about it because a man doesn't do that. A real man doesn't complain about women constantly.
Create alternative forms of entertainment, but we still need to call out the woke garbage. But on that rare occasion when they do something right, I will praise them for it. And Spider-Man No Way Home was an enjoyable experience at the movie theater. And this is where I will reveal my secret agenda. I want Hollywood to stop dividing this country, stop subverting everything, stop filling your film.
He really thinks that Hollywood is dividing the country. He needs his tinfoil hat on now. There's a lot of things dividing the country in the world. It's not just Hollywood. It's not. You're doing your part, Gary, to divide fandom. You're doing your part by being such a gatekeeper. None of us are. I agree with that. None of us are normal. All right.
with woke garbage, and then you'll do some real good in the world. You'll bring people together so they can forget their troubles for a couple of hours and just have a little fun. Now, I had my issues with Spider-Man No Way Home, and again, I will go over those in the future, but overall, I had fun. Everyone's noticed the shift in Hollywood, but it wasn't that long ago when films tried to appeal to as many people as possible, but this time, Sony and Disney had to swing for the fences. There was a time when just one Spider-Man would be enough for a successful film. Now, it's going to take 3.
What? They're saying that they had no choice. That's the other spin, that there was no choice. That no, we wanted to see what's going to happen with Spider-Man, the multiverse. I'm not going to say that it would be as successful if it didn't, but come on. We want to see what's happening with Tom Holland's Spider-Man based on the MCU. It always would have made some money. That's bullshit.
3 Peter Parkers, I might add, and sure, it's nostalgia bait, and I'm going to bite this time. My kid is excited, and this might be the one case where it could be a good thing. It will be the one thing we can point to when compared to the other abysmal Marvel films that came out this year. I don't think it's any coincidence that the most successful film in 2021 is the one that didn't have any fake woke marketing. I will be reviewing this.
Oh my God.
Film. It'll be out in the next couple of days. Until then, have a great day. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you
No, thanks. All right. There we go. Bye, Gary. Bye, Gary. Make sure to rate. Make sure to rate and subscribe to this video as well. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going after this. I appreciate everyone watching with me, reacting with me. Let me see here. John McIntyre. I don't think this is about happiness. This isn't about using fans' fears and anger to make a profit. If fans are happy, they lose out on financial opportunity. Unhappiness equals money. Yeah. This was planned for years. Christopher Barker. Shang-Chi was effing badass. You crusty chud. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. Honestly, I was being real when I wasn't even going to appear on screen. I saw this video pop up. I was actually trying to make the thumbnail for tomorrow's Fandom Awards show. I'm going to make the thumbnail with Spider-Man No Way Home versus Zack Snyder's Justice League and Dune, because these are 3 amazing films this year. This is one of the best years for entertainment ever that you haven't seen since almost, I think, like the 80s, that you've had this much great product within a year. There's so much to be thankful for, including you viewers. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, my members, everyone in the chat, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let's have some great time. I'm going to go watch some great content. I'm going to go play some great games, and I'm going to be happy with my life instead of acting like there's this big conspiracy to taint my entertainment and remove people like me from it, which is bullshit. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.